Live, Sam Bankman-Fried tells jury run on the bank-failed FTX. Prosecutors moved to strike the defendant's interpretation from the record in his third day of testimony in the criminal fraud trial. New York. Sam Bankman-Fried continued his defense Monday against allegations he committed fraud and conspired to commit other forms of fraud in operating FTX and Alameda Research, continuing a trend from Friday when Bankman-Fried's lawyers kicked off their direct examination. The FTX founder corroborated some details from company insiders who testified against him earlier in the trial while providing alternate explanations, downplaying his culpability for certain key events. Toward the end of his defense lawyers' questioning, Bankman-Fried walked the jury through the events of August through November of 2022, when FTX rapidly morphed from crypto kingpin to bankrupt company. Bankman-Fried zoomed in on the aftermath of an award-winning November 2, 2022 CoinDesk scoop that revealed Alameda's secretly precarious financial position, characterizing the events that followed as a run on the bank, an interpretation prosecutors moved to strike for the jury. It was the same phrase used by former Enron CEO Jeff Skilling when explaining that company's spectacular collapse to Congress more than 20 years ago. He ended up serving 12 years in prison for fraud. Bankman-Fried also defended an infamous subsequent tweet thread shown by prosecutors in which he told the world that assets are fine, a seeming plea to slow down withdrawals from the platform just days before it filed for bankruptcy on November 11, 2022, and failed to return billions of dollars in user deposits. Bankman-Fried has argued throughout his testimony that he had a vague picture of his empire's finances in the run-up to FTX and Alameda's collapse, and he said that by November 2022, when he tweeted, he still believed that FTX didn't have any hole in its balance sheet and Alameda still had assets in excess of liabilities. Bankman-Fried's read on the direness of the situation only changed a few days after his tweet thread. He testified when key assets on Alameda's balance sheet, namely FTX's FTT token and Solana's SOL token, dropped drastically in price. SBF started testifying to jurors on Friday. The one-time crypto exchange CEO began sharing his story with a jury of New Yorkers on Friday, arguing that FTX's collapse was a result of mistakes, including by some of his lieutenants who held key positions running the companies, including former Alameda CEO Caroline Ellison. He previously testified before Judge Lewis Kaplan on Thursday without jurors present, though much of that testimony won't make its way to the jury. We thought that we might be able to build the best product on the market, an exchange that would combine the elements that we thought were best from traditional financial products with the elements we thought were best from the big crypto ecosystem, that it could move the ecosystem forward, he testified Friday. It turned out basically the opposite of that. The MIT graduate walked through his work at Jane Street and the origin of FTX and Alameda, before delving into some of the missteps he said led to last year's bankruptcy. These included Alameda's lack of hedges against the risks it was exposed to. Bankman-Fried also walked through some of his company's investments, his political donations, and other issues prosecutors have said show he intended to defraud his customers and investors. At points, the FTX founder seemed to contradict testimony provided by government witnesses, namely his friends and former executives like Ellison and FTX head of engineering Nishit Singh. Read all of CoinDesk's coverage here.